Miles, thank you, and thank you again for your efforts for the last day and a half. It's been something. Thank you, sir. Miles O'Brien. As Miles indicated, there are 1 million parts to this shuttle. That's not an exaggeration. And putting the pieces together now means finding the pieces, as many as possible. To give you a sense of how big the job is going to be, it took weeks to recover the majority of the debris from Pan Am Flight 103 after it was blown down out of the sky over Lockerbie in Scotland. Space Shuttle Columbia was traveling nearly 6 times higher and 24 times faster when it began breaking up. The debris fell on at least 6 heavily wooded counties in East Texas and in the western part of the state of Louisiana. Once again, here's CNN's Ed Lavandera in East Texas.
There's too much debris and not enough people to protect it all.
Thurston.
The order to start picking up what's already on the ground can't come soon enough for recovery teams around Nacogdoches.
We're trying to stay on top of the site locations as best we can, but right now the call volume still is bringing in more reports of debris than we have officers available to go out and check those.
We tell her because they call back in, and we just want to make sure it has keep up.
The calls that more shuttle fragments have been found keep coming in. No call is too small for Sheriff James Campbell.
It's something that I don't know. I didn't want to touch it and mess with it.
That looks like part of the tile that came off of it.
It will probably take a while to get this small piece removed from James Channel's backyard, but the sheriff has to count on him to protect it.
Could you put a bucket over it, maybe in a brush or something, and leave it there?
I sure can.
And I feel like it's going to be safe, but we want to be absolutely sure. If it's on the sheet, though, go for it.
GPS technology will be used to log the debris sites across East Texas and western Louisiana. Marking teams will flag each spot. Eventually, this will create a unique map, capturing the exact dimensions of the debris field. Now, there have been 1,200 sites that have already been recorded of shuttle debris found in the Nacogdoches County area alone. That does not take into consideration the surrounding counties and portions of western Louisiana. Aaron, so as you've mentioned, they have a massive task ahead of themselves to try to find this, and officials here acknowledging that there could be pieces of this space shuttle that will be found for years to come in the heavily wooded areas of East Texas. Aaron?
We're going to talk about this a little more in the hour, but we should mention that some of this stuff is highly toxic. Should people find it, they ought not touch it. Did you have a sense that there were lots of people out there looking, lots of government people out there looking, or just residents out there looking?
Everyone's looking, Aaron. It is quite a sight as you drive all of the back roads of East Texas. People armed with their video cameras and still cameras, taking pictures. Everywhere we go, there's always someone that seems to be coming up to me and saying, hey, I found this picture, I took this piece of video of something, or they say, you know, I've called the authorities, there's debris in my backyard or on top of my business, and no one's come out to see it yet. There are pieces as small as pennies to as large as 7 or 8 feet wide in diameter. It is all over the place, Aaron.
Ed, thank you. Ed Lavandero's in East Texas tonight. There are, as we said at the beginning of the program, a number of investigations going on. One of them, Admiral Harold Gaiman, was chosen to run an independent panel which will investigate the disaster. He arrived tonight at Barksdale Air Force Base. CNN's Patty Davis had a chance to speak with him, and Patty joins us once again from the base. Patty, good evening.
Good evening, Aaron. Well, the independent investigative team began its work this evening here at Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana. That as remains from some of the astronauts began to arrive here today for examination by pathologists. The man leading this independent investigation, a 4-star retired Admiral Harold Gaiman. He led the investigation into the terrorist attack on the USS Cole, and he says in this investigation he will leave no stone unturned.
We will look at everything from broken, twisted metal and metallurgy up to top-level management practices and policies. We will work rapidly but diligently.
Says he will have answers soon, hoping to come out in stages with this information as quickly as he possibly can. He says he realizes this is important to get answers as soon as possible. The future of the shuttle program hangs on this, and those astronauts who were up there in the space station as well. Now, this independent commission was formed to provide an unbiased view.
No preconceived avenues that we're going to look into. I was quite struck by the interview this morning with astronaut Sally Ride, who was part of the Challenger investigation, who said that some of the things that they started to look at and thought were fruitful avenues to pursue turned out to be red herrings. We, because of our independence and independence from NASA, feel that we would have an open mind to look into all matters having to do with spaceflight.
But just how independent can this independent investigative team be? Well, Gaiman was appointed by the head of NASA. He will report to the head of NASA, the other agencies involved in this, the Department of Transportation, the military, the FAA, and we found out tonight, NASA sitting on that independent commission. Now, one safety expert telling us tonight, he's questioning why, in fact, there weren't some outsiders, some non-governmental people appointed as well to this group. Aaron?
And do we have an answer for that? Does the Admiral give us any sense of why the composition of the group is the way it is?
Well, it wasn't his choosing. The Admiral didn't choose exactly who was on this. I believe they were chosen by NASA as well. But he's maintaining that he will be able to get the information he needs. He will be able to remain independent. And of course, you're probably going to see a congressional investigation as well into this matter, which will provide another critical view. Aaron?
Patty, thank you. We'll certainly see a congressional investigation, and we'll talk more about that in the second hour of Newsnight on this special edition of Newsnight. As we continue for the 2nd of February, a Sunday night, we'll talk with former NASA astronaut Gene Cernan, the last American to walk on the moon. And up next, a town where debris rained from the sky and the country where the death of one astronaut had a profound impact. From Houston, this is Newsnight.